All right, folks, this is episode 5 of the Jake Ellenbogen Show. I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen, and if you're new here, welcome. Stay a while, grab your favorite drink, and let's have some fun. Before we get into it, just letting you guys know you can follow me at JK Boga on all social media. I have a YouTube channel as well called the Jake Ellenbogen channel. It's literally just Jake Ellenbogen. And, today we're going to be talking about all sorts of topics. Man, band I really enjoy listening to. I've followed for a while. They just released a new record, Green Day. You ever hear of them? I'm kidding, of course. They're massive, so I'm sure you have. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on the new record. Green Day just dropped. I just had my first golf lesson, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to be talking about why I hate cruise ships, why I've never been on one, but why I will never go on a cruise, with all due respect to everyone else. I'm going to talk about legendary video that I just showed my buddy about Dragon Pizza, the review that Dave Portnoy did. I just want to talk about it. I think it's hilarious. And then we're going to be talking about some other stuff. Avowed Indiana Jones for the Xbox, those two games I just saw the trailers for. Absolutely mind-blowing. Just, really crazy stuff there. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you, tuning in as always at almost 400 downloads in 4 days. So really cool stuff. Let's just keep that thing going. Again, subscribing is huge. It just basically is going to send a push notification to your phone every time I drop a podcast. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's get into it. First off, I want to talk about the Green Day record. Okay. I've listened about 3 times through, and it's called Saviors, if you guys have never heard of it. Just kind of going through The American Dream is Killing Me. I thought it was a really quality song. I just really enjoy this band. They've gone very political, which, we're not going to talk about here. But I feel like even if you don't agree with their politics or whatever, you can just enjoy. I mean, it's just they're a fun band. They're the band that I feel like gets better with age. I don't know why, but Green Day just seems to get better over time. And what's really exciting is they announced on Howard Stern that they're going on tour. They're going to be at Citi Field, which, as you guys know, I'm in upstate New York, so I do go to those New York City shows, Boston, stuff like that. That's my jam. And they're going to be on tour, and they're going to be playing the entirety of American Idiot and the entirety of Dookie. So if you're a Green Day fan, that's pretty fucking cool, if you ask me. 2 great records. Just really like this band. I've seen them. I saw them at Citi Field. They were part of that super mega massive tour, whatever the hell it was called, with Fall Out Boy and Weezer. That was around COVID time. So Fall Out Boy, a roadie got COVID and they had to cancel. And I was distraught because I've liked Fall Out Boy my whole life. And yeah. Anyway, make a long story short, Green Day new record, check it out. My favorite song on the record, I would say, is probably Dilemma, the 5th song. I think it's it's a hard-hitting record. There's definitely a lot of emotion. I thought there's some really cool slower songs. I'm not really a slow song guy, so when I get into a slower song, that is saying something. But mellower songs, Father to a Son, which is the 13th track on the record. Really like that. I like Corvette Summer, Coma City, Goodnight Adeline. I mean, a lot of these are really good. One-Eyed Bastard. You've heard Look Ma, No Brains, and you don't even know it because the second song on the record actually was in that Taco Bell commercial. They continue to play on a loop. So, yeah. The new Green Day record, hopefully it is the start of something fun this year. I thought last year had some fantastic records. I mean, I talked about it before, but Avenged Sevenfold coming out with Life is But a Dream. You had, of course, Queens of the Stone Age dropping theirs. You had, Foo Fighters, But Here We Are, huge, mega emotional record. Paramore. And I absolutely loved the Paramore record. Fall Out Boy dropped one. The Sleep Token I didn't even know about until last year. My co-host introduced me to them, and I absolutely love them. So yeah, there's just some fun stuff going on last year. I mean, there was quite a few. The Word Alive, they dropped one. Yeah, I mean, From Ashes to New, I believe, dropped one. So yeah, there were a lot of different records. Now, of course, I understand not everyone listening to this is into rock, pop punk, metal, but that is my jam. So, obviously, if it's not pop punk, rock, or metal, I'm probably not going to go talking about it at length. There are some things I do like, but yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much me. I know, hip hop and rap are really, really popular, but I don't listen to it as much. I don't hate it. As long as you don't mumble and it's not auto-tune, I'll listen to it. But yeah, that's where I stand on that. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Really excited. Green Day dropped another record. The last time they came out with one was Father of All Motherfuckers was the title of it. Man, was that a motherfucking letdown. That was one of those, I don't even know what they're trying to accomplish, but whoever that producer was, they got rid of him clearly. And the view, the sound on this one is so much better. They dropped Revolution Radio, which had the song Revolution Radio. It had a bunch of really good songs. Young Blood was one of them. So, I mean, I really have liked, I think Green Day has one of the more consistent discographies of the genre. When you look at like punk rock or pop punk, a lot of these bands tend to change. But I think Green Day has stayed really consistent over the years. They have changed, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I like the consistency that they've had. And as I said, they continue to get better. Okay, let's move on. I had a golf lesson. Trying to get really good this year. That was my goal. I have a bunch of goals set for 2024. One of them was get really good at golf. Wow. Very, very illustrative there. But all jokes aside, I did have my first golf lesson today. Great instructor. Just really cool, kind of, shooting the shit, in between, helping me with my swing and whatnot. Guy knows music, sports, all that. So, right up my alley. And, I had seen him around the place I go to, but it was cool that he ended up being my instructor. And I thought it was him, but I wasn't sure, but yeah, he's been teaching for 30 years and it was just cool because I've just been getting so frustrated lately. Something that people don't tell you is when you're trying to learn something, sometimes YouTube isn't the best thing to do it on. I love YouTube. I have a marriage with YouTube, whether I want to or not. That's just majority of my revenue is coming from YouTube, or at least the opportunities come from YouTube. So I love YouTube. I'm on there all the time. What I will say is I mean, if you looked at my YouTube channel right now, not YouTube channel, but my YouTube recommended, it would be a golf video here and a golf video here and another motherfucking golf video here. I mean, it's all fucking golf. The YouTube shorts that keep coming up, all golf. You can tell that I've been looking up golf videos. The problem is I just need to watch somebody, I need instruction. There's so many different things. And then you have the golf videos that contradict each other. People have different ways of explaining things. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go and get lessons. I want to play golf. I want to go on a course. When I go to Florida in March for on vacation, I want to go on a motherfucking course. I want to play, with my dad, with my uncle. I don't want to sit there and, have 20 strokes and, feel all upset and discouraged and, hold up everybody. That's not what I wanted to do. So I just decided, look, I'm going to get lessons. So I got them today and it was great. I started hitting the ball straight and, a long way to go, right? But just building my swing up, I think he's really starting to help me out. So I'm going to keep going to these golf lessons, see how good I can get. I'm getting I've been using hand-me-down clubs from my dad and my grandfather. He left my dad's stuff and then my dad, passed down to me. And I mean, some of them are really good clubs. I really like the driver. I have a good 3-wood. I have a good 5-wood. Aside from that, they're older, so I'm going to be getting brand new irons tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. No idea what I'm getting. So by the time you give me a suggestion, I will probably already have bought my clubs, to be fair. But very excited to be doing that. And I kind of just made that pledge to myself. Like, I'm going to have a pretty decent budget when it comes to clubs. I'm going to give myself, some room where I'll try them out before I buy them. And if I like them, I'm going to buy them. And I think, the important thing here is that I didn't just go out and spend $1,000 on golf clubs and not know that I want to stick with golf. This is a sport, this is a hobby, whatever you want to call it, that I've picked up recently that makes me feel alive, that makes me feel like I'm doing something productive even when I'm just not working on my work, so to speak. And the fact of the matter is, I've always wanted to get a winter home. I want to live in New York, forever. I like New York. I like my area. But in order for that to happen, I need to have a winter spot. And I'm not close to doing that. But at some point, I want to get a home here, and I want to get a home, whether it's in Arizona or Florida, and just play golf all year round. During the NFL season, you focus on content, and then when you're done, you just go out on a golf course, get a nice golf membership, all that. That's what I want to do. That's really my hope. I've had a lot of, inspiration to do that. Obviously, you guys know, if you know me, my buddy Gary, he's pushed me to do that, but also my father. And I have so many family members. My cousin Adam, if you guys know me, then you know my cousin Adam Steele, does all the, Steelers content. He did the AJ show with me. It's just like, even, my best friend Tyler, he can play golf. I mean, so many people can play golf. And I think, what is the beauty about it is a lifetime sport. You can always cater your game based on how you're currently playing, because you can completely change the way you play the game when you're younger. You have more flexibility, you have more power. You can really just launch the ball 300 yards or so. And now it changes the way you play, as opposed to maybe just playing it safe. And now you have to play a little bit more as far as the strokes, and you have to be a little bit more cerebral. I love that about golf. And so that is something I've always liked. Golf. I used to watch the PGA Tour all the time with my grandfather when he was living here. And I used to know all the names and all that, and then I got out of it, and I really haven't watched much since. I mean, I've always been a Tiger Woods fan, Phil Mickelson, because my grandpa Dave loved him. But that's really it. I knew who John Daly and, Vijay Singh and Ernie Els and all these golfers, and I watched Arnold Palmer's last game with Gary Player, and like, I know this sport. I'm not just like some rando, but at the same time, I've been out of it for a while. So I wonder if getting into golf, playing it, will get me into actual PGA. And who knows, maybe PGA content down the road. Who knows? I don't know. Probably not. Let's not just make everything about work, Jake. Let's actually fucking enjoy things for once. But, so yeah, that's where I'm at with the whole golf thing. But I just actually got back. I had let's talk about this right now, okay? You guys ever go into a restaurant and you go in and you know what you want and you're excited about it, and then they tell you it's like a surprise it's like a birthday party essentially, because you walk in and they're like, oh, buffet with question mark? And you're like, wait, huh? They're like, yeah, we have a buffet right now. If you do that at an Indian restaurant, you just hit the mother lode. And that's how I felt. I went to this place and oh my God. I went there with my soon-to-be roommate in May. His name is Jake, too, which is kind of funny. And his last name starts with an E as well, so that's also hilarious. But so we walk in and, we're going to get Indian food, the usual lamb tikka masala that we always get, which, by the way, is probably my third favorite food. I talked about sushi being number 2, mainly that yellowtail roll I just can't get enough of. And number 1 is just pizza, right? But number 3 would probably be lamb tikka masala. They didn't have lamb tikka masala. They had chicken tikka masala in the buffet, but holy hell, man. You go into a place, like, I've done the opposite. I've gone to a restaurant where I'm thinking, the buffet, and they're like, oh, we actually closed just now. Like, no more buffets for the day. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? And I mean, maybe I'm just a fat piece of shit and you guys don't like buffets, and maybe it's just me, but I've always loved buffets. So the fact that I walked into an Indian restaurant thinking, okay, it'll just be a regular, Indian restaurant, and they ended up just having to be doing buffets on a Friday night, best fucking feeling ever. So the little things in life, folks, you got to relish them. But anyway, the point of making this story was I was with, my friend Jake, and, we're talking, and we came to the realization he and I both are not a fan of cruises. We've never been on one, but we're not a fan of cruises. And it was like one of these, like, holy shit, man, really? Like, holy hell. Here's the thing, okay? I don't know why, and again, don't take offense to this. I'm just having some fun. I don't know why people like cruises. I don't know why people like being stranded, in the middle of the ocean, when we already have a movie and history that dictates and shows exactly why we should not be doing such a thing. It's called the Titanic. Now, I'm not saying every single time, and obviously we have plane movies where planes go down and, explode and people still go on planes. But here's the thing with a plane. It's transportation. It feels like I don't really get scared of travel. The only thing I get scared of is when we're flying into my area in upstate New York. For whatever reason, I always get the worst headache when we're about to land. And it feels like my head is going to literally fucking burst. I remember the one time I came in after going to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Oh, I have stories that I could tell you guys for that. But anyway, that's another time. But I come in from, Alabama, which then connected to Atlanta. So I come in from the Atlanta airport, and oh my God, we're landing, and I feel like the ear pressure that you get when you're in the mountains, and sometimes like your ears, like they'll pop. It feels like mine aren't popping, and it feels like my brain is about to burst. And it's one of the worst feelings ever. And I don't know why. I don't get it when I'm landing anywhere else, but when I'm landing in New York, it's like immediately, it's the worst feeling ever. It's excruciating. I've tried chewing gum. It doesn't help. I've tried keeping headphones on. It doesn't help. I've tried without headphones. Nothing helps. So anyway, talking about flying is just, to me, like, okay, you fly. You take a plane. I mean, not nowadays. I mean, it seems like to me, airlines are so shitty that I would just drive to Florida at this point. I won't even be flying to Florida in all likelihood. But I don't know, guys. Like the way I see it, the way I look at it is that, when you think about it, I mean, flying is a necessity and cruising is not a necessity. And I understand there are a lot of cool things on a cruise, and maybe some fucking day I'll be talked into doing it. My father's been trying to get me to do a cruise forever. But it's not for me, I don't think. And I'm not going to push something that's not for me. But also, it's the same thing with Jaws. Like, people try to tell me, like, Jaws is, like, the greatest horror movie ever because it's so scary, the thought of a shark. And I'm like, bro, get out of the fucking water. Are you for real? And you want to tell me that fucking shark that can only attack you on water, can't attack you on land, and can't attack you in the air, can only attack you on water. You want to tell me that's scarier than Michael fucking Myers? That bro will be walking 1 mile per hour and catch up to you. And he's got the fucking scariest mask ever. I mean, I love it. I mean, Michael Myers, I have a lot of, love for the character. Obviously got the Michael Myers mask in the backdrop of my setup, but I'll tell you right now, I like the Michael Myers mask on my desk, and I like it a lot more on my desk than having somebody walking at me with a butcher knife or a fucking kitchen knife or whatever fucking knife and wearing that in a fucking jumpsuit walking at me. Freddy Krueger would kind of look funny. I honestly don't know if that would scare me. Michael would scare the shit out of me. Pennywise would be fucking horrifying. But yeah, anyway, talking about horror things. But like everyone tries to act like water, like, oh my God, Jaws is so scary. Not really. Just stay the fuck out of the water. Is it really that hard? Do you really have to swim that fucking bad? Like, move the fuck on. Do something else. No, I really have to, get in some swimming. Like, why? Get out of the fucking water. It's not scary. He's not going to... If you go over to your local diner, Jaws ain't going to just show up and eat you whole. Like, Michael Myers might break into your fucking diner and slam your head against a glass table and then stab you and hang you up on a freaking... No, that's the thing. So going back to the cruising and everything, that's why I don't like cruise ships. I really don't like the idea of just being stranded on the water. And I mean, I know that cruise that got lost in the North Sea, and it's like, oh, Jesus. And you could say, oh, it doesn't happen very often. It's, once in a blue moon where a cruise gets hit, hits an iceberg or gets stranded in the North Sea or whatever. It's like, yeah, but that once in a while tells me it's happened before. And if it's happened before, there's still a possibility it happens to me. And if it fucking happens to me and I'm sitting there and I have the realization that I'm going to die on this cruise, I'm going to be fucking mad at myself for even going on said cruise because my gut told me, hey, I shouldn't do this. And I still fucking did it anyway. I deserve what I get. Or as the Joker said in the Joker movie, you get what you fucking deserve. So, look, I like that you guys can enjoy it. Maybe I will someday. Cruise ships are not for me. Honestly, water isn't really for me. I mean, I have a history of people drowning in my family. I really, water's not exactly something that I'm like, yay. I don't really care for the beach. I don't have a pool. Water is water. I know it's dangerous. I know no matter how good of a swimmer you are, you can still get killed from it. So I guess, I don't know. For me, I just try to stay out of harm's way. I'm not like scared of everything, but cruising is one. So yeah, me, my future roommate in May, I mean, Jake, like he and I both agreed, like cruising, like fuck that. And if you like it, all the power to you. I do not. All right, let's talk about this. It's old. I get it. It happened maybe last year or something, but the Dragon Pizza review with Dave Portnoy is still one of the all-time greatest videos I think I've ever watched on YouTube. I mean, just let me paint this picture for you, okay? Dave Portnoy does all of these pizza reviews. As I've said before, if you've never watched him before, like I'm not like a Barstool fan. I just like Dave Portnoy. But if you haven't watched him before, you got to check him out on YouTube. They're so addicting. I don't know why. So his cameraman, Frankie, who I've never seen before, he's just always behind the camera. He just rolls these continuous shots. And the thing that's hilarious, it shows you how easy it is to make content if you just put yourself out there. And he's not like, the thing I love about this, I hate prank videos. Like, oh, it's a prank. Oh my God, it's a prank. No, I'm sorry, motherfucker. You took milk out of a fucking grocery store and you started throwing it up in the air and exploding it on the ground and made these service workers have to pick it up. It's not a prank. That just means you're a fucking douchebag. That's what that means. Can we all agree on that? Those prank videos on YouTube just need to die. They're awful. People that are going around, they have these really expensive headphones. Guy cuts the headphone. I've seen it all. I'm so tired of it. Oh, he cuts the headphone wire and he's like, oh, I got you these ones. Motherfucker, I liked my headphones. I bought these. You don't know how long I saved them. You don't know if they were passed down to me by somebody else. These prank videos are the fucking worst. I don't care if they're fake. Even if they're not, even if they are fake, I still think you look like an asshole. Guy going around, like randomly touching people, whispering in their ear. Like that is how you get shot. And like one person got shot doing that. But anyway, the point I'm making here is that you can still make IRL videos in real life. You can still make those fucking videos without being a prick. Well, I guess Dave might have gone a little bit too far, but I don't really care. The point is, they were just filming him doing a pizza review and everything just took off. It was so funny. You have this random guy that comes up, seems like a really like wholesome guy. He calls himself Dom of the Year. And Dave is reviewing this pizza from Dragon Pizza. And he's saying, oh, yeah, it's really parmy and all this. And of course, the Dom of the Year guy has actually worked there in the past. And, he used to make it. So it's so fucking funny because, Dave is just really good with people and like really good at like just being on camera. That, his charisma and everything, the way he interacts with people, it just makes it worth watching. And so he's interacting with Dom of the Year. And he's also like, he's mentioning like, what the hell does that mean? Like, they're talking about it. He's just like, oh, I just love the way you slid right in there. And, then you get some other people like see him on the side. And like, keep in mind, this is in Massachusetts. Dave Portnoy is like a known, Mass guy. So he is very popular and all these people keep going towards him and everything and saying hi. Can you take a selfie? Can you take a picture? And it's just, it's a good video. Like it's wholesome and everything. And he, he gives him a 6.4, as a pizza review, which he kind of alludes to feeling bad, but it's just not his type of pizza, with the parm, which I get because I don't want my pizza to have too much Parmesan on top. But anyway, the video just goes from 0 to 60 in like seconds. And this is why you always film. Don't stop filming when you're doing stuff like this because you don't even have to fake it or force it or anything. Sometimes gold content will just come from when you're just filming. And if you choose to end the film when it gets controversial or maybe gets a little heated, then you miss out on the gold content. And the gold content is great because you didn't have to go over and disturb anybody because people just made the content for you. So you have this one lady off her shift that she was clearly like, a PA or something, a nurse or something like that. She comes off her shift and she's like, oh my God, you're Dave Portnoy. I'm literally about to shit. And I thought that was hilarious because that's just such a random thing to say. When you run into somebody who's popular, oh yeah, I'm about to shit. Like, okay, well that's weird. Then another person comes over and then, and then out of nowhere, you see in the background, he's in front of Dragon Pizza, reviewing the pizza. He's already reviewed it. The owner has no idea what his pizza review is. And he comes out and he starts yelling at Dave and he tells him to move. He's like, I don't really, it's like, enjoy your pizza anywhere, but I don't, agree with, the way you do things and how you, deal with local businesses and all that. And for those of you who don't know, like Dave Portnoy had this, this awesome fund during COVID to save all these local pizza shops, these local businesses from basically having to disband. He created this fund and then he gave out this money to people who, requested the money, right? Because they, a lot of these smaller businesses would come out and request it. And, he would help them out. And so knowing that context, in case you didn't know, the fact that the freaking manager comes out and started yelling at him and saying that he doesn't support small businesses. He raised like $50 million to small businesses. Like it was something like that. It was absolutely crazy. So then, the guy, he comes out again after that and he tells him to, maybe I didn't make myself clear, get away from my business or something. And then, and Dave said, maybe I didn't make myself clear. Fuck you. And he said, maybe I didn't make myself clear. Get the fuck away from my business. So like then this guy just starts getting heated and Dave is just kind of, he's escalating it to a degree, but the guy is such a fucking prick. Like he really is. Like you watch him and you're like, wow, that guy's a fucking asshole. So he's just, running his mouth and, and then Dave says, your shirt is 5 times too small. He's like, then he starts saying like, he starts babbling, like the guy starts stuttering and then Dave just goes, bah, 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 like he just starts, oh my God, it's so funny. It is one of the most legendary videos I think I've ever seen. Like the guy just comes out and he like ruins his pizza shop essentially. I don't know if they're still in business. I've heard bad things about Dragon Pizza since. But it's funny to me because if the owner of that establishment came out and was like, yeah, Like he made some sort of like he added value to the video. He could have helped his pizza place. Even though Dave gave it a 6.4, like he still could have made himself likable. And he didn't even know he gave him a 6.4. He didn't care. He just didn't like Dave Portnoy. He said, "Oh, well, that New York Times article." Well, there you go. So, a reminder, if you own a business and you don't know who is, your customer, you don't want to fuck around with the wrong customer. And I always I rewatched that video. I showed my buddy that today, Jake, and I was just like, man, this is gold. And then of course, all these people, right after he says that, this lady comes over and she's like, "Oh, I just wanted to let you know that like I know somebody whose business you saved," and they were, and it was just so funny how like the timing of that was right after, and it just goes to show you the guy was totally an asshole. All sorts of stuff's happening. It's just there's so much shit going on, and it's hilarious, but it also, when you're good at working in the spotlight like that, the way Dave Portnoy is, it becomes second nature. So obviously shout out to him and supporting all those local businesses. I love it. You vote with your dollar. And if you go with local businesses, I mean, that's always some good stuff. So I love supporting local businesses. They're the backbone of the United States. They're the backbone of our country. And I'm all for it. And unfortunately for that guy, like keep in mind, he's trying to support him. Like, okay, he gave him a pizza review, but he explained like he's not a Parm fan. He had no idea what it had nothing to do with the score he gave. The owner was just an asshole. He didn't like Dave and it ended up hurting him. So just be cognizant of that. Anytime, you're out and about, you're at your place of local business and, this guy comes in and, he seems a little different. Maybe, don't treat him like an asshole because he could be a huge social media presence and you could bury your own company, business, whatever, by treating that person like an asshole. And then who knows, the flip side of it, if you're good to them, maybe, their publicity, they end up giving you a little bit of a shout out. And then all of a sudden your business is now booming. You always have to be smart. And reactionary shit, you shouldn't run a business. Okay. So I wanted to talk about it because I bought for those of you who don't know and haven't been following for that long, I bought an Xbox recently. I've been a PlayStation guy my whole life. PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, PS4, PS5. I've had it all. I still have the PS5. However, I had an issue with Sony, and I have always defended Sony, but this is why I'm no longer a console fanboy, because you don't get anything in return, okay? The thing is this. We live in an age now where you don't own anything if you buy it digitally. You don't. You do not own it at any point. One of these big companies could say, you know what, we lost the rights. We're going to take it off your account. Goodbye. And there's nothing you could do. That's one thing. However, another thing, and a thing that happened to me, folks, is I actually there was some hack or something. I got my account banned, suspended, whatever, permanently suspended. So I couldn't access my account. And my dad's account got suspended. And my brother's account got suspended. And a bunch of other PlayStation users' account randomly fucking got suspended. And they never came out and said anything about it. So that scared the shit out of me. Because I was quite literally going to buy a PlayStation, I already forgot the name of it, PlayStation Portal. The handheld PS5, it's not really, it's a handheld remote player, so you can connect to your PS5 and play remote games with a PS5 controller attached to a screen. I like the design. I think a lot of people say it sucks. I like it. I almost bought it. I really wanted to buy it. It's so hard to find, though. That's the first thing. Such a turnoff. I don't know why PlayStation does it, but they do it on purpose. They don't release it all at once. They don't want everybody to get a hold of it because it creates a buzz. But anyway, so I've already saved up my budget for the PlayStation Portal. I'm getting a $250 PlayStation Portal. It's $200. I saved $250, obviously tax and whatnot. So I saved $250. I'm trying to get this motherfucker. And then all of a sudden, I just try to log in and I notice that my account is suspended. And I'm like, hold on a second. I have over 600 games on there. Are you fucking kidding me? And sure enough, I can't play any of those games now. So I was like, no, this isn't going to fly. This isn't going to fly. So, I touch base with support, and then support gives me this whole spiel how, yeah, it looks like it's suspended, but we don't know why, or we can't give you the information, so come back later or whatever. And I'm like, this is the worst service I've ever dealt with. And then miraculously, right around midnight in the next day, I tried logging in and my PlayStation account all of a sudden worked. And I'm like, what? And guess what? No mention of it. None. So for 24 hours, I was under the impression that I had lost 600 plus games forever. Think about how much money that is. So I decided to make a tough decision. My PlayStation fandom was no longer exclusive. At that point, I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. If that can happen to anybody, I'm getting an Xbox. Can it happen on Xbox? Probably. But I was so ticked off with Sony, and the fact they never came out and addressed it. I mean, I was looking and I got lucky, man. There's still people on like Reddit and shit that have never gotten their account back. So I thought about it and I was like, I'm getting an Xbox. And so I looked and I was like, holy shit, I can get an Xbox for $300 at Target. I think it was Walmart. One of those. It was Target or Walmart. So I get the $300 game, the bundle with Diablo 4. Do you see where I'm going with this? I literally was going to buy a PlayStation product, the PlayStation Portal. And because their service was so bad and I lost the ability of my account, I quite literally was like, fuck it. I'm going to buy a fucking Xbox. I'm done with it. So now I have a Switch Lite, I have a PlayStation 5, and I have an Xbox Series X. I'm a gamer, but I don't game every day. I'm very busy, so I haven't played video games in 2 weeks, just about. But I have access to every game. And oh man, yesterday, Avowed and Indiana Jones for the Xbox. They're going to be exclusives. The two trailers dropped, the gameplay trailers. Guys, okay. I've said it. Next gen gaming is so overrated. We've had some good games, but for the most part, I don't see the big deal about PS5 and Series X. I have them both. I like both consoles, but I don't see a huge jump in graphics. I don't see a huge jump in general, right? It's good. It's not a huge jump. It's not PS1 to PS2. That's probably the biggest jump of all time. PS2 to PS3 was fucking huge too. PS3 to PS4 was decent. PS4 to PS5 was solid, but not PS4. Keep in mind, people, at the end of the PS4 or the end of the Xbox One, that life cycle there, they still have plenty of room there to continue to have games. They still have games coming out for that console. That console was really good, and if you got the PS4 Pro, it's just a tick behind a PS5. Obviously, not quite, but you get what I'm saying. So, yesterday, the trailers for Avowed and Indiana Jones come out, and I'm telling you right now, I'm like thanking God that I decided to get an Xbox, because next year, or this year, yeah, that's another thing. This year it all comes out, I'll be able to play any game I want. So no more sitting there bitching in the comments section, which I should have been doing anyway, but I was just so bitter because I don't like exclusive games. Now I get exclusive games on my Xbox. I get exclusive games on the PlayStation, exclusive on Switch. And I play the Switch the least amount of time. I haven't played the Switch in a minute. But I have some good games on there, and it's good for travel. And when I go to Florida, and if, as long as I'm not driving at the particular time, if we take turns, I'll probably play the Switch a little bit. But I just am so happy I have an Xbox, because Avowed looks like next gen Skyrim for real. Like, I'm not fucking with you. But it has some guns in it, which I don't love, but I can live with that. The scenery is to die for. And I hate that term. like, oh, this chicken is to die for. It's like, all right, you sound a little bit over the top, but like Avowed scenery is to die for real. I mean, it is some of the craziest visuals I think I've ever fucking seen in a video game. I mean, they have some wacky, they had this place that looked like the fucking Grand Canyon. Like, I don't even know what we're dealing with. It's got some of the best, I mean, the box cover art looks amazing. It comes out this fall. This is going to be an all-timer game. I'm putting it out right now. Avowed, Avowed, the Xbox exclusive, is going to be worth buying an Xbox to play. It looks like a legitimate all-timer of a game. It looks like Skyrim. It has its own flavor. The graphics they feel like PS6, that whatever you would call the next Xbox. That's why I didn't say the Xbox Series X2 or whatever, because I don't know what they're going to call it. But guys, like, we're now into the Unreal Engine 5 or whatever it is. Like, these graphics are going to start looking, you know how people, one of the most overused terms in video games is photorealism. It's so overused because think about it, people were saying it was photorealistic in PS2 era. Like, oh, MVP Baseball 2004, which is a goated game, by the way. The one with Albert Pujols on the cover. And the one with Manny Ramirez in 2005 was pretty damn good, too. You could create your own stadium. But the point I'm making here is that we used to say that was photorealistic. Now you go back and you look and you're like, what the fuck was photorealistic? These guys look like clay animations. No, this looks like photorealism. I mean, the fucking trenches and the scenery and the biomes, and it's just massive, man. Like, I am so fucking stoked for this game, an RPG I could get lost in. It'll probably come out at the most inopportune time. Rams football, just the NFL season in general. But I'll still make time to play it because it looks amazing. I'll probably stream it on Kick. For those of you that, want more content, I do live streams on Kick during the off season, like go heavily on the live streams. I'll also be doing draft breakdowns as well on Kick. So it's kick.com/JKBogan to check that out. Also at JKBogan on all social media if you want to just, follow along. But guys, Avowed had me so excited. Like, there are games that, Hogwarts Legacy was one of those games I was like, oh, holy shit, this is really cool. But Hogwarts is an IP that, Harry Potter's an IP that Like, we already know the Harry Potter IP. We know Hogwarts. Like, as much as I love that they brought it to a game, it's not original. You know what I mean? This is its old fucking universe. Like, it is original. It looks like Skyrim, but it's its own flavor. And it doesn't even look like Skyrim because the scenery doesn't even look like it's from that time period. Like, I literally saw a map in that game that looked like the Grand fucking Canyon. It was insane. So I cannot wait to play that game. It's going to come out probably in October, November. I will be playing it day one on Xbox because, of course, even if I had to buy it, I would, but I don't because of Game Pass. So shout out to Game Pass there. And then Indiana Jones. So Indiana Jones, I mean, obviously we all know the IP Indiana Jones, so it's a little different than Avowed. But the fact of the matter, and this is so fascinating to me, is that Indiana Jones is one of those things that is so influential. That IP was so influential that it got to the point where, I mean, let's call it like it is. It's the reason Uncharted happened. It's the reason Tomb Raider happened. And so now Indiana Jones is literally making a game that has kind of that Tomb Raider play style, that has that, Uncharted play style. And I'm watching this and I'm like, these graphics look insane. What I love about it, it's called The Great Circle. It supposedly takes place in between two of the movies. I forget which movies it does take place in. I'll try to remember as over the course of this, but it sounds like it's canonical. So if you're a huge Indiana Jones IP fan, I mean, it sounds like it's canon, and that is really cool. It is canon. It takes place between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Last Crusade. So that's some really cool shit. It takes place in 1937. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, 36, and Temple of Doom was 35, and then Last Crusade was 1938. It took place in the game, or it took place, in the world. So this is fascinating. And the game is going to have various countries and locales such as Vatican City, Egypt, the Himalayas, and the Sukhothai temples. Wow. Yeah, guys, I was bitching, moaning, complaining about the whole fucking next-gen video game realm that we were living in, and I feel like Xbox has 2 games alone where I'm like, this is worth the purchase. Like, I might buy my brother and my dad an Xbox because I'll be moving out. I might buy them an Xbox so they get to play this because you got to play these 2 games. If you're a gamer, these 2 games are going to be amazing. I think Avowed is going to win Game of the Year as of right now. I just don't know too many PlayStation games coming out. And, they're so, focused, and all their attention is on the Last of Us IP that they continue to just repackage and milk for all sorts of money. Oh, we'll do a definitive edition. We'll do the premiere edition. We'll do a gold edition. We'll do a next gen edition. We'll do a remake. We'll do a reboot. It's like, oh my God, stop milking that fucking IP. For the love of God, it was a good game. The second one was a total bait and switch, but I will say this. I really like The Last of Us. It is overrated. And overrated does not mean bad. But I'll tell you right now, I feel very good about Avowed and Indiana Jones. As a gamer, I'm very excited for that. I'm excited to stream that, whatever it ends up being, but that's what I gotta say. So I feel like we keep getting longer. You guys notice that? If you've been listening to the first 4 episodes, now the 5 episode 5. So the first episode we had a little bit over 30 minutes, and I was just testing the waters out, and I thought we hit a stride. The second episode, 37 minutes, almost 38. The third went up to 39, and the fourth we got over 40, almost went to 43. This time we're at 46, now moving over to 47 minutes. So look, what I'm saying is I'm getting into a rhythm here. This is a lot of fun. A daily podcast I didn't think I'd be able to do, but I find myself like, I don't want to be repetitive. I think that's the only thing I run into, but there's always going to be shit to talk about. So hope you guys are, enjoying this and get ready for the ride because I'm not fucking stopping. Hopefully this is your listen every single day. If it's not, I understand. This is not for everybody. This, not everybody wants to hear, F-bombs and shit. But the whole point is that it's not that I'm purposely cursing. This is who I am. Like, I'm cursing. Like, I curse a lot in my house. I obviously have a filter that I've gotten really good at using, when I'm filming like actual like content for like football and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely have a sailor's, mouth, if you will, as they say. It is what it is. It's an unfiltered podcast. It's uncensored. You know what the fuck it is. But anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been episode 5. And I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys take care. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan and check out my YouTube channel, Jake Ellenbogen. I'll see you guys next time.